Welcome folks! Today we're going to be doing some rank climbing with the one and only Force 2 DP, so it's going to be a deck that I want to talk about. But before we start, I do want to plug the Twitch chat, the Twitch in general. So I do stream on Twitch about 3 or 4 times a week, and so you can always tune in. There's a link in the description where you can check it out. You can follow on Twitch to get notifications of when I go live, because I can't post on YouTube when I go live, but otherwise you'll see it on Twitter and Discord and stuff like that. So yeah, make sure you join the Twitch experience, and if you are a streamer yourself, I do recommend switching to Twitch as well, because we're trying to build up the Vanguard player base here. So yeah, without any further ado, let's get into the video itself. So today, I'm going to be featuring the one and only Force 2 DP. Now, this deck, I mean, those of you that have been watching the playthrough probably know that I mostly played with Force 1, and I mean, against AI it's fine. But the thing is that in real Vanguard, against real people, Force 2 really is super effective. And thing is, at first I was like, I tried Force 2 a couple of times when I lived in Japan when this deck when Daiyusa first came out, and I kept losing, and it wasn't going that great. And so, the entire time I was kind of like, is this really that good? I don't think Force 2 is ever worth it. I was like talking down on it and stuff. But then, Andy from WCC basically, beat my teeth in and showed me the power of Force 2 DP. And really how strong it is. And then I realized that this Force selection is super key for this meta, because Force 2 allows you to do 2 things. First of all, damage denied like crazy, because you can basically rush them on turns 1 and 2, thanks to cards like Die Brave, Die Dragon, Platinum Ace. You can rush them a little bit, try to push them to 2 or 3 damage before your turn 3, and then when you ride into Daiyusa, go into Force 2, use Daiyusa's skill, and he's already on 3 crit. So even if they're on 2 damage, you swinging with it means they have to PG it, otherwise they're taking 3 damage, you check 1 crit and they're dead. And that takes me to the next point. I used to run 6 to 7 draws, and as a result, run less crits. But then Andy also told me, he's like, you need to run 8 crit, because if you push them to 2 or 3 early, or if they're even on 1 or 2, the Daiyusa with a 3 crit, if they take that, if they don't have enough to guard that early, you can literally steal games on turn 3, because 1 crit can actually kill them if they're on 2. And so you can easily just threaten them. If they don't have a PG, you do Daiyusa, then you put the Jenna Laser behind, which is an 18k booster. So you're swinging for 51 on turn 3. If they don't have a PG, that's super hard to guard. And so basically, if they take that, you check 1 crit, they're dead. So the deck is super effective. I've been playtesting it to Kingdom Come, like just crazy. It's honestly just a super good deck. And so the list in general is obviously 4 Great Daiyusha because it's our win con, 2 Silbards because it's one of the important other cards. Like, when you can't kill them with the Daiyusa, the other thing is that the next turn you're going to go for the Great Daiyusha. And so what happens is that you're going to go for Great Daiyusha and put a Force 2 on one of your other rearguard circles. And so you're going to have a Force 2 on your Vanguard, so that another thing is that when you go with the Great Daiyusha and Force 1, you have like a 43-53 Great Daiyusha with a Force 1 marker on it. It's just 1 damage. If they're on 3 or 4, they're just going to take that. But if they're on 3 or 4 when you do Great Daiyusha with Force 2, they can't just take that because you're already threatening with a crit. So you check 1 more there and they're dead. So it's really important. But then if they do PG that, you have Silbard and the Platinum Ace, which are both +1 crit attackers. So if you put a Force 2 on them, they're swinging for 3 damage, which is going to be lethal in most points. So if you manage to push them to 3 even, that's going to be really good. And so you basically put a Force 2 on one circle, then check a crit, put it on the other circle where the other Platinum Ace or Silbard is, and that's it. You're threatening lethal on turn 4 with every single attack, and they have to guard everything. They have to guard 4 massive attacks on that turn, or they can't do anything. And the reason why damage choking is so important is because Lukier can be damage choked, Shadows can be damage choked, so many decks right now can be damage choked, and they can't do their plays, and that's just really, really good. So obviously we still play Daiyusa because we do care about that plus 5k power. We also need that plus 5k power on earlier turns, like turn 3, to do Daiyusa. I feel like Daiyusa is most effective still on that turn 3, because we don't really want to use them on the Great Daiyusha turn, because we're playing Force 2, Great Daiyusha will always be 33, so you will not reach that 35k threshold because of that, and so we won't be able to use Daiyusa on the Great Daiyusha turn, so we kind of have to use him on the first Grade 3 Daiyusa turn. Otherwise you just keep him in hand, guard with him, and that's all. Die Brave again is good because it's essentially a 13k booster. With a 33 on that Daiyusa, it's going to be 46, which is enough for that sweet threshold. Quilt is also a really good card. Not only does she help us reach power, because after that Great Daiyusha, you will be low on power. You'll be on 13k, so it's important to try and get yourself back up. But the other thing to consider is that your opponent will try to damage choke you, and then you might need to rewrite the Great Daiyusha manually if you manage to keep your front row. So if you have the Silbard and the Platinum Ace still on your front row, sometimes it's worth it to just rewrite this on the right phase, give that front row plus 10k, and then swing for game, because sometimes they won't be able to guard all of those attacks with all those crits, and so that's really important to consider. But the Quilt is also good because on earlier turns, if we've taken a crit or something, if we didn't manage to guard enough early, because this deck does want to guard early against quite a few decks because they will rush us in the late game. So, but if you are given some extra damage, you just use that draw skill. 30k is super easy to reach, and that extra draw can actually save you sometimes. So honestly, sometimes when it comes down to between Daisaurus and Quilt, sometimes Quilt will actually win over, because Daisaurus will sometimes lead you into not as efficient scenarios, but I think Quilt is just good because we do need the boosters. The boosters are really important. So yeah, Die Brave is important for reaching our threshold. And Genelaser. This card is a godsend. You rest one card and he gets plus 10k. And so this card is super good because, again, boosting the Die Liner, 51. And then after that with the Great Daiyusha, 18k boost is really important. That's going to be 31. You essentially do one power up from Die Brave or Die Dragon to get to 36. Use Quilt. There you go. You're at 46 and you can do your Great Daiyusha once again. It's not that difficult to actually get into. And so the other thing is, this card behind a Platinum Ace is also huge because it's a 28, 38 when you use Platinum Ace without any boosts, without any triggers, nothing. So really big, and then 8 crit as I mentioned. So let's go into some ranked games and I'll show you this deck. The only problem, I mean a lot of decks in Standard have this now, is the brick. If you don't open the Die Liner, it does kind of slow down, and if you miswrite into Great Daiyusha, you kind of have to take Force 1. So that's the only thing to keep in mind, and obviously going first is very valuable. So sadly we're not going to be able to do that here. This is not a very good hand, so we're going to have to put back 4 cards here. And so we don't open a Die Liner, but Daisaurus is an okay ride too, because he powers up himself. And we're going to be playing as Narukami, so it's going to be a damage denial matchup, so that's going to be pretty interesting. So we'll see how this goes. He goes into the Demolition, so I think he wouldn't have minded going into that going second either. So we're going to be able to push a little bit here. I think if we ride into the Genelaser and then call down the Die Brave, try to threaten for a draw as well. So let's draw off our Daiyusha. Okay, we get another Die Dragon, which is fine. And also here we're going to try to push. The only danger here is against Narukami, we might get this bound if he's smart. But let's check if he is or not. So we're going to try to swing and deal 2 damage already. So he's going to take that, potentially get a defensive, which is still okay even if he does. But he does not. But even if he did, he'd be risking a 1 to pass. So here he has to drop a 15k to no pass this, which he will. That is a smart choice to do because now if he goes for the Cho-Oh, he can bind my Die Brave. That's exactly what he wants. So honestly, that's a good play from him, but I think the risk was worth it for me too because not everyone on ladder does this. But I think most players that have tested against DP enough will know how to do it, and I was going to go for the Cho-Oh and be able to buy my Die Brave, so I'm going to lose out on a bit of resources, but I think that risk was worth it. We managed to get a card out of his hand as well, so I think it's definitely worth it. He does not use it, however, and instead chooses to attack rear. That is an interesting play. And I'm debating if it's worth it to guard this, put it to the back, and try to push. But the only problem with pushing, I think I'm going to try to actually do that, yeah. I'm not gonna give it to him. Alright, so he gets the back row puller. So that means that he's probably maining at least 2 or 3. I mean, it doesn't necessarily mean that, but seeing it off the drive check can lead us to assume that. So Platinum Ace is our best right target right here, because he will be threatening quite a lot. So we can put this back, and then put down the Die Dragon. I'm debating now if I want to use a skill. Just to power up a little bit, because 20k will then make it so that it's harder for him to... but I mean, 15k guard will put him to 24, which is still a 1 to pass. If I'm on 20, that's still a 1 to pass. Okay, it's not worth it. So what we're gonna do here is swing like this, see if he takes it, and if he gets a defensive, chances are he will guard this one. But we'll see. So he's still thinking. Okay, chooses to take that. Chances are he will try to guard our Platinum Ace. He does not get a defensive, so that means he's going to have to put it down to 15k for a 1 to pass. So let's see if he's going to do that or if he's going to drop the 20k. He dropped a 10 for a 1 to pass. Let's see if we can see a trigger here. We do see a trigger. It's a heal, which doesn't matter, but the power-up does matter as well as the draw. That means we can put the Die Brave into the soul, get ourselves a draw, potentially draw into the Die Liner as well, which is really important right here. So that's why this early tempo is really, really crucial. So let's see. So we can use Die Brave. Make sure that he doesn't get bound. We draw into a crit. Not too bad. Checking that instead of the heal would have been a bit better, but I mean, I can't really complain. So we push into 3. So now we can actually soak up a bit of damage. I don't even mind taking this Golem Buster here because we're in 0 damage. 0 damage gaming. But let's see. So he does go into the XL2. As you would. I mean, there's no reason not to when you're playing Narukami. That's clearly the best choice. But so he's going to be able to get rid of my Die Dragon here. Interesting that he didn't go for this instead. I guess he's trying to push damage, which I don't blame him for, but I think it's not super crucial. It looks like he might not actually be binding because he doesn't value it. That's perfectly fine, so we can actually let him take that. Or maybe I should guard this, because he's going to attack with this into the 10, then 13 into the 10. I can guard those easily. Attack with a 25 with a 2 crit is a bit less risky, because chances are he does run crits. So at least I don't get pushed to 4. Being pushed to 3 is a bit more comfortable. 2 is also pretty comfortable, so I think I can actually just guard these because he's not going to threaten the bind. So I think that actually should be okay. So he's going to swing again here. Definitely, definitely. As I thought. And here we can try to do this and see where it goes. Like, I don't necessarily mind him having the extra crit here. Him attacking rearguard would be pretty annoying though, so okay, it does not. I will just take that. Absolutely no reason to guard that. We are in 0 damage. We do want to get some. He gets a PG, which is a little bit annoying. But it'd be more annoying if we were on the Die Liner. I mean, it's annoying regardless. Let's just be real. Okay, he gets a Zuitan, so no crit, so we're only taking 2 damage here. Not the biggest of deals. We get a heal. Another whiff is not too great, but I mean, I'll take it. And the Die Liner, that's really unfortunate, but there's nothing we could do about it. I think that was still the optimal play, and playing it out any differently was not the right choice. So we're gonna have to ride into the Daisaurus. Still go for the Force 2 though, because it's 23. I could still buff it up to 28, that way he has to... I mean, because... Actually no, if he drops the heal, he's on 32, meaning it's still 1 to pass, but then... It's a heal 5 for 2 to pass, right? Because he could go up to 37. Whereas this would be a heal 10. But a heal 10 is 30, meaning it's 2 triggers. Yeah, he's on 6. Not sure if it's worth it. We do have a lot of soul though, so I think it is worth it to use this here. So I'll just use this. I don't think I need to push and lose my Platinum Ace yet. I think I'm actually fine here. So let's just go in with a 28 with the extra crit, make him drop the PG that he just drew, because at least this way, it's a 2-card guard for 2 to pass, so it's basically the equivalent of a PG. So chances are he will drop it, but we'll see if he does or not. Also in this situation, if we do get the Die Liner eventually, it's kind of worth it to rewrite into it, even if you lose the Great Daiyusha tempo. So we'll see where this goes. He is thinking if he wants a PG here, I think. He probably has a few cards in hand that he could. Yeah, he has the 2 to pass double front. So he does run fronts here. It does reveal that to us, so that's good to know. We get a crit, which is pretty valuable. I mean, we can at least force out a 10k out of his hand. Chances are he won't want to go to 5 just because of a Die Dragon, so... That's pretty okay. He still has the PG in hand, so we'll see what he drops for this. Probably the 10k, but he has been dropping a lot of his grade 1s, but no, he drops a 20. Drops the heal. That's pretty big, actually. Alright, so we can see they plays fronts, which is interesting. But that means that by guarding his Golem Busters, we're more or less fine. We don't have a PG in hand, though. So if he has this, he does have the Zuitan in hand, so if he chooses to call it and then still bind, just with that power-up, that might be quite relatively big, because it'll be 22, 33, 38. That's actually quite huge. So he'd be on 33, I mean, we'd be on 33, I'd have to drop quite a lot of shield just to put up with that. So here, what he might do is still call the Zuitan and then bind and power up these two. That'd be pretty huge. Let's see if he does that. He might not, though. He does not. Okay. That's interesting. Let's see. He will keep attacking rear. Do I care to protect it? I think I do. Because then I can take this safely if he's running fronts. I mean, even the 3-crit attack I can take relatively safely, actually. But does he run only fronts? That's the question, right? We've seen 3 of his fronts, he might run Rainbow. If he runs Rainbow, I'm kind of dead, and I don't know that yet. Until we've seen another type of front, which I don't think he's revealed to us yet. So I think it's worth to guard this. Guard these 3 attacks with this, and then just take the last one. I think that's what I should do here. Alright. Let's protect the Die Dragon. Make him swing into Vanguard. Unfortunately, he might heal out of it, which would be a bit unfortunate. Okay, he's gonna just bully my rear here, which is perfectly fine. We can protect it to our heart's content, and then take that attack. Daisaurus will get the nice power up, so that if we check a Great Daiyusha, we will be in a pretty good position to use him. Drawing into a grade 1 would be optimal here. We haven't seen any, apart from 1 Die Brave and 1 Genelaser. And we still need to see some quilts. A quilt would be perfect here because that would let us draw into the Great Daiyusha a bit more consistently. He sees a drill and a heal. That's pretty big, unfortunately, for him. Going down to 2 damage is actually pretty unfortunate. We're going to be going up to 33, so meaning 1 Die Brave will actually pull us through, but then healing will actually put it down, so that's a bit of an issue. So we're going to go up to 4. Alright. Double crit on the damage check is definitely not what I want to see. But that means that we have a higher chance of drawing into a normal unit here, and a grade 1 in particular. We've seen a lot of grade 2s already, so statistically it's either grade 3 or grade 1. It's a trigger. That's not very good at all. But I can use the Die Dragon here to power up, check out 1 trigger from the drive check. We have 3 triggers in damage, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we still have half of our triggers in the deck. This might just be enough to pull through somehow, but we'll see. We have to check a Great Daiyusha and a trigger, so it's actually pretty luck reliant. I don't like that at all, but risks are risks, and we gotta go for it. So let's see what happens. What can we do with this? We're going for the 38. Hopefully don't see a heal is nice in theory, but then it's gonna make us lose our power threshold. He will want to guard this, I think, because the problem will be that if he doesn't, I check double crit in his game. Okay, he does not guard. Let's see what we get. We get a Die Dragon, so that's already GG. We'll not be able to do this turn. We get a draw. The PG is pretty big here. The Die Brave is also pretty huge. I think I want to power up this. I think I do. Alright, so we got the draw there. So that means the next turn we'll be able to do Die Brave, and we do have 2 PGs, so we'll be able to deal with that Golem Buster pretty easily. We're probably going to use the bind skill at long last. Okay, he doesn't get any defensives. We get FPS drops instead. So 28, he has to drop the heal for that, which is pretty big. That is good. Now I need to think about where this is going to go, because he's on 4. And so this will power up if he has a Zuitan. He might go for the restand if he has another grade 2 to actually carry out the bind. The restand is pretty big, but at least it's easier to guard. Although this is also relatively simple, so I think I want to go for this Golem Buster. Make sure that he doesn't power up from his Zuitan, because if he re-rides and gets himself another marker, that will be pretty big. So I think I need to make sure that this doesn't hit anything magical. Yeah, let's go for rear. I think that's the right play here. He does guard it. He knows that it's an important card. Alright, that puts us in an interesting situation. But as you can see, the Force 2 has been putting in work. Like, it's pressure for them to either guard it or take it. As you can see, he does rewrite. He gets the extra Axel Circle. He'll be able to put down the Zuitan. Probably has something to guard. And able to pull back those Phoenixes. He has 2 in the... he has 2 in the drop, which is pretty huge. It's probably going to call down the Zuitan and then a Death Scythe. and be able to... Chowo is big too. He has 4 open damage. This could be lethal for him too. We'll see, because he's going to be able to bind one of these, and then bind the other one with the tonics. Gonna power up his Zuitan, and that Gala Buster calls down the Phoenix. This is gonna be a magic number, hitting for that 28, which is really big. Man, this ain't too good. The 14k, I think this one should be guarded. This is gonna be 23, which is gonna be pretty annoying unless he goes without the boost. What is more valuable here? I think the Platinum Ace should still be kept. I think... When am I gonna take damage? I think that Golem Buster is the biggest threat. So let's go for that. Alright, let's see. It's gonna be a really scary turn. Goes for that 13. I really will have to drop everything from my hand here and try to just top deck next turn and see what I can get. Because guarding both of those attacks is gonna be pretty big. I have to PG for a PG here and then drop a heal for something. Can't say I like that at all. He is gonna probably attack with a 14k first. Maybe I should just take this? Let's see, if I do take it, this gets denied if I get a defensive. The chance of a defensive is 3, 3, so 6, 7, 8, 9. Relatively big. 7 triggers left. I think I need to take this here. Because that Cholo restand is going to be really annoying. I should take it. Let's see if we can get a defensive here. We do get a defensive. It's a heal. That is actually perfect. Definitely big. Will help us survive. He's going to have to, well, just pass on this attack, and this Cholo is getting denied as well. That's definitely big, and this is going to be just a 23, meaning that a 15k would be enough, but I am going to probably drop the heal for this. Or maybe still the PG? I'm not sure, because this will be a 23. The heal is still 2 to pass, which I'm not super comfortable about. So I guess the counterblast for that restand. These will go up in power, which is really big. He's going to be able to call down the Phoenix behind that Choo for a really threatening column. Man, I think I need to... I don't know. How many triggers has he seen? Let's take a look. 1, 2, 5. Only 5. Yikes. I think we have to PG this. I think this is PG territory, and I don't have much on the timer, so I need to really act fast here. Only 30 seconds on the timer, I gotta really think faster here. Alright. Okay, he gets a draw, that's fine. The draw is okay still. If he had a double trigger there, that would not be that okay. Alright. Alright, these are some scary attacks still coming through. The 38. No, the 27, sorry. So that's gonna be... I think I can drop... This would be 33, so we can go up to 37. No, I need to drop this. My timer is not being very kind. If he gets a trigger here, that's pretty big, but he does not. Now, can I guard these other two? Yes, I can. I just need to drop a 10k for the Zuitan, and that is gonna be enough. So let's see. This is a 30, meaning that this will be 33, which is enough. Unfortunately, losing that boost is pretty huge, but this will be a 33, meaning that I can just take it unless he passes turn. He does not, so we just need to soak in this damage, deny his heals, and hopefully find ourselves a Great Daiyusha, or a Dailiner would also be kind of big. Although, Great Daiyusha is a bit more valuable here. Great Daiyusha from the check. Okay. Essentially, we're gonna have to bet for a trigger. Let's see again, how many triggers do we have? We have 3 in the damage. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we have 6 out of 24. Chances are relatively big for a twin drive, but can we get it? Let's take a look. Swing with a 38. He has 6 cards in hand. He did check a draw, though. That means he has a PG for this attack. If he wants to protect, he does drop the PG. He's going to go down to 4 cards in hand. He still has double intercept on the board, which is definitely big. What is he going to drop? He's going to drop that Thunder Break. Running a lot of great 3s in this build. We got one trigger, that's all we needed. We can put the crit safely on here, put the power up on the Vanguard, get our Great Daiyusha off, and we're going to be sailing for the rest of this game, hopefully. We get another Great Daiyusha, so that way he can think that we're a luck sack, but we're actually not. I mean, in case that matters. So, let's use our Great Daiyusha. Let's let that animation play. Whew. Alright, get that Great Daiyusha going. Put the Force Marker on the Platinum Ace. And we are going to be threatening now lethal with both attacks. 33 with a crit, and then a 30k with a crit on the side as well. So, let's see if he has enough to guard this. He has dropped quite a few of his heals. He has another PG in hand. What is he going to drop for the discard cost? That's going to be pretty important here. And what we check from the triggers will also be pretty big. We only have 5 left, I believe, so it's not the highest chance. Let's see. Alright, I need to talk about this. He knew that he couldn't win, and he did the BM play. Alright, well, we can count that as a win, because honestly, him disconnecting clearly shows that he wasn't able to guard that, and his very low self-worth meant that he didn't want to lose the 10 rank points, and so he DC'd, but clearly we had that in the bag, because him DCing means that he didn't have enough cards in hand after that PG. If we checked even one trigger, probably, even if we checked 0, I think he didn't have enough, so yeah. Let's just go for the second game. Clearly, even without Dailiner, the deck can win pretty well. So we're gonna go for the next one against Iruka. Raid 950 did have a win before this, so let's take a look at what we can do here. So, Paper is a pretty safe pick, but lately people have been picking against it. We're all gonna go first. Can we see a Dailiner though? I don't know what is generally is more valuable here. Going first, I think I should do this. Alright, we don't see a... that's interesting. Let's see if we can draw a Dailiner beforehand. That would be quite nice. We don't here, but we're just gonna pass her. Playing as goals though, it's gonna be pretty interesting. We do need to guard early. I'll have to drop the crit here to protect and make sure I'm not getting rushed here, which is pretty important. But that's still pretty okay. So let's see what's gonna happen. He is gonna hit for just the 8. I doubt he's gonna call down anything else. We're gonna be able to guard this for a no pass, and that should be pretty safe. So let's just drop this, go for a no pass, and we're gonna be good. Checks the crit. No passing is very good in the early because this deck does not need counterblast in the early. That is one of his strengths. Here, I mean, the only way we would need counterblast is if we went for the Platinum Ace and called the cool behind it, and then we'd be 23, still hoping for triggers, so it's not that effective. We get a Die Brave, which is pretty nice. I might just call that down behind Vanguard because it is a pretty valuable target. He won't be able to do anything here. We might be able to draw into the Dailiner from the Die Brave if this hits. So we get a crit, which is really big, so we get to push a 2, and we get a draw from that Die Brave. It's gonna be really big. We're gonna be able to draw right into the Dailiner or the Daisaurus here. Both are fine. I do wish to show off a game with the Dailiner though. I mean, if you watch the stream, you will have seen a lot of it. She does get the draw, but that's fine. I would rather draws go to damage than to drive, because that means less PGs and more hitting for us. Alright. So, chances are she has the Bowman here. We'll be able to ride into the Azel. Let's see. What does she have here? Okay, she has the Bowman. Does she have the Azel in hand? Followed by the Raven-haired. Followed by another Raven-haired. Alright, let's see. Ooh, okay, goes to main phase. Does she have the Azel in hand? She does not. She's gonna just attack with this one. Do we want to guard this? Because I have to drop the 20k just to guard this. I kind of want the one counterblast just for the quilt, because we can actually reach the threshold to get the extra draw. Maybe I do want to actually not take damage here, but if we top deck the Dailiner, that'd be pretty sad, so let's take it here. Gets the heal, that's okay. I think that's alright. We get the Gen Laser in the damage. That's okay. Alright, we don't find a Dailiner. We're gonna be able to use Daisaurus though. It's still okay. Still good. Still good. So this would be a 26 with a boost. Alright, then let's use the Die Dragon here to increase the power a little bit. Get ourselves the draw from the Quilt. Because that is pretty nice. Alright, let's get ourselves the extra draw. Okay, the Dailiner goes there. That's not too bad. I can go into Dailiner after the Great Daiyusha. We get a crit. That's also nice. And the second check is another Dailiner, so our hand is full of Grade 3s, which is good in some ways, bad in some. Alright, first check is not a defensive. The second check, though, is a defensive. Another draw. That means another PG that will not be going to her hand, making it harder for her to guard against what we're going to throw at her later. Does she get another defensive? She does get a heal. That is pretty sad, though. Does stay on 3 and denies our attack. That is fine, though. But we can see here the power of Force 2 is pretty big. Potentially, I could have put the crit here and threatened, but I think it's okay. Now, next turn, I'm assuming we're going to be taking quite a bit of damage. She does have 10 cards in hand, which is pretty big for gold. Goes for the Raven-haired. Ouch. Does not have the blonde in hand. Ooh, still plays the Vivian. That is a pretty old tech. We don't see Vivian very often these days. Since you do have the whole Kaidan, well, engine, quote-unquote. Let's see what she gets from it. Maybe a Bowman. Gets the charge goal. That's interesting. When placed from hand, for that turn gains +5, so it will not gain +5 here. That is an interesting build. Not very conventional for golds. Let's see if she attacks my Vanguard here or not. She is attacking rear. The Die Dragon is pretty valuable. However, is it worth it? Is it worth to protect here? I think it is. If she attacks rear, I will take that. Alright, we do guard that. Let's see if she slaps the Vanguard or not, or will she continue pressuring the rear? Okay, she attacks Vanguard. We can let her go for it. Maybe she'll check a crit. Will arguably be better for us. Does not. Gets another Raven-haired. Her hand is massive, though. Ooh, gets another... Ay, that's a lot of Great 3s in hand. We are gonna just go to 2. I think I might as well re-ride Dailiner here. Let's see what we draw. If we draw the Die Brave... Nah, yeah, you see, this will be 31. I mean... How many triggers do we have? 2, 3, 4? My chances are pretty high. So this would be 31. With this is 36. Meaning, we are potentially threatening. But I feel like it's not worth it yet. I don't know. Because the Great Daiyusha, would it be lethal? I mean, it would be pretty threatening, but I don't know. We have 12 triggers. It's a pretty high chance of checking at least one. It doesn't matter which one. It could be a draw, it could be a heal. Heal wouldn't go off. But I have a lot of Great 3s. I feel like it's better just to protect against what she might throw at me next turn. I think it's better to rewrite. I don't know, man. This is a hard choice. Do we bank on the trigger? It's a pretty high chance, and then we can rewrite next turn anyway. I think I'll go for it. I think I'll go for it. Let's see what happens. I'm curious to see how this will go. Let's take a look. So let's just swing with a 36, not use the quilt. See if we can check one trigger just to get into the Great Daiyusha territory and then see what's gonna happen. She does have a lot of grade 3s in hand, and most of her PGs have gone to damage, so she has to guard it like this. It's pretty awkward for her. We get a heal. We get one trigger. We are able to do Great Daiyusha. The risk has actually paid off. Another Great Daiyusha, so now she can confirm that we are a luck sack, which is even better. Alright, we're going to be able to use the Great Daiyusha that we just drew. She can see which part of the hand it comes from, so she knows that it is actually a genuine one. Daiyusha! Alright. I think we can give the power the extra force here. We do get the power up here. And now we can swing with the 33 with the extra crit from the force 2. Very threatening. If this was force 1, this would not be threatening at all. Let's see if we have built up enough tempo here to be able to win it. Alright, that is a 1 to pass. That's very risky. We still have a lot of triggers in deck, so there's a high chance we could check one here, but we don't, and that is perfectly fine. Now the question is, do I swing with this and then try to still threaten for game? Because this line doesn't do much to me, just a 16. She will take it, hoping for that defensive, and then hopefully to try and intercept this. She will get it. Another draw in the damage. That's honestly very big. She does run crits as well. We do have that confirmed, which is also nice. Now with the 23, just needs to intercept to guard it, so it's not that big of a deal. And this is a terrible line, so she probably wants to get rid of it. She will overguard instead, which is a questionable choice. I don't know why, because this column is not doing much. She has a lot of grade 3s in hand that she could be calling. I'm not sure why she's doing that, but I guess we'll find out very soon. Now, what will she do? Will she ride the Blonde Nasal from hand and then use the Raven Hair immediately? Yes, she will. So she goes for the Blonde Nasal. Is going to use the Raven Hair that's stuck in her hand and be able to get a third Axle Circle. We are going to get rushed down, which is perfectly fine as well. I think we will have to rewrite here for the Die Liner. Alright. 3 Axle Circles, meaning she will put down the majority of her hand here. So she has to drop something. Drops the Platina to find the Gareth. Calling it there, I think calling it to the Axle Circle honestly is fine because you can count plus 1 and put it up to a 23k attacker, which is really big against the Force matchup. Let's take a look. This is going to be pretty big as well. She does not call anything else. It's really weird. Not making use of all of these resources that she has built up. Does attack into the Die Liner, which is also a questionable choice, to be honest. And I think we can just honestly let this through because we don't even value this too much. Because we can call down the Platinum Ace and just threaten lethal. We have a good board set up, and honestly, nothing to complain about. She's going to use the Raven Hair here. I will be able to let her have that. The crit doesn't matter, unless she checks double crit here and kills us, which would be pretty unfortunate, but I'll be able to take that. That's a 35k. Another Raven Hair in hand. That is pretty sad when she's actually decreasing in hand. When she gets a crit, pushes us to 5. Which is, you know, ups and downs. So we're gonna go to 5, which is questionable, but she has 8 cards in hand. If we can draw a Quilt here, it does change some things, but okay, it goes to damage, so no chance of that. And our last damage check is a crit, which is pretty good. So it's gonna be 27, meaning it's only a 5k to guard. I can intercept for it, or we can take it. However, the strength here is that we are threatening lethal on every single attack. I can rewrite here and put a force 2 in all my columns. She will poke that rear guard column. Is it worth it to protect it? That's the question I'm asking myself here, and I'm not too sure, honestly, because it's going to be a big attack with the force 2. It's going to get an extra power up. It is actually quite big. I think it might be worth to guard it and try to end it this turn without using Great Daiyusha, because we are not able to power up enough. It's only going to be a 21. I think I want to protect it because it is a good attacker. It's going to become a 20. I will guard that. I think that is the right play here. Alright, let's see what we're gonna draw here. Ooh, the diver is pretty big. Let's see, 21. 26. Still not enough. I'd have to overcall the Quilt to make it 31. 36. Still hoping for a trigger, which I don't like. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Still a pretty high chance, though. 10 triggers out of 24 is relatively big. We do have the next Great Daiyusha lined up as well, which is honestly pretty big. So I'm not sure if it's worth it though. I think rewriting the liner, she has no PGs. I think that just the raw power of liner will actually be able to push through. I think it's more worth it to do this actually. Let's see if it's worth it. I think the raw power of liner is worth it here. Let's take a look and see if it pulls through. Alright, we don't get a grade 3, which is a bit unfortunate to be honest. Actually, very unfortunate. God. Can't say I'm too happy about that. And there's a lot of triggers that we had lined up here as well. Would have had a double PG in hand. What do I want to take here? I think I need a grade 1. So I will just take the quilt. That's quite unfortunate, but I mean, that's just how it is. That's Vanguard. These things do happen, so we're gonna lose that a bit in the power, which is a bit unfortunate, honestly. In absolute honesty, it is a bit unfortunate, but we'll be able to still do something, I think. I think I just need to push through, actually use this quilt, unironically. Just to try and push numbers. I do want the 30k threshold here, so that my Platinum Ace is very, very lethal. Alright, I think we've reached the point of very, very lethal. So let's go. 41, most likely no PGs in hand. We can get one draw off the quilt here. Into a crit, which is a bit unfortunate, but that's okay. There we go, no PGs in hand, that is a 2 to pass. We get a Great Daiyusha. That'll be good for next turn. Double grade 3, that would have been really nice to get off the Daimliner, but not off the drive check. Quite unfortunate, in all honesty, but let's see what we can do. That's really unfortunate, actually. That's really unfortunate. Everything threatens the crit. She can double intercept for this. She still has quite a few grade 3s in hand, so maybe we can still push through with a Platinum Ace, but it's pretty risky because we run out of soul. But then... man. This is really threatening. Let's see what'll happen. We are at 5, so we're not in the most comfortable positions here. But I do need to do this. I think I need to use it. The 28 is pretty valuable. Let's see if it actually pulls through. 28. Does she have 20 in hand? She has a few grade 3s. She has enough. I think the rest of her hand is mostly grade 3s. And she has the Platina in hand, if I'm not mistaken. Yep. So it's gonna... Oof. The 4th Axel Circle. That's the most Axel Circles you can have in this game. It's the most I've ever seen in my entire time playing this game as well. She can use the Vivian here, but she will use the counterblast for the Raven, the Platina. I don't think there's a reason not to. 16 cards in deck. The Wonder Hazel. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 3 triggers left in deck out of 16 cards. Oh man. She did use the skill. She's attacking rear here. She knows what I want to do. She knows. No, the power-up is so important. I need to guard this. I need to guard this. The Daimliner will be very, very important here, so... I'll use up one of my spare Daiyushas here. This will be a 16, which is still a 10k, a 17, which is still a 10k, and then this will still be able to call 2 units. Can I guard everything? Oh man. She knows, she knows. So this will be a fat 10k. We gotta guard it. I want to rewrite the Great Daiyusha on its own. Power up our entire field and then threaten lethal and win. This is a 20. This is a 2 to pass. But is it enough, is the question, because there'll be 17k, but she has 3 triggers. She'll get to look through 4 cards. I think she might go all in as well because she's on 1 card in hand. She knows that she will lose here. And we still have a lot of shield in hand. The 30, 45. Hopefully don't have to use the intercepts though. Do I no pass here? That's the question. Ah, man. 17. I think I have to no pass it. I think it's a bit too risky otherwise. Let's see, what does she check here? Gets the Bowmains and the Azel. That's okay. And the Wonder Azel, meaning she's gonna get another call. That is pretty big, but... damn, that's huge. No triggers though. I wonder if that... I can guard all those attacks, but I have to lose everything from hand, which is a bit unfortunate. That is very unfortunate. Doesn't have any more Garrus left, I think. Okay, that's good. This is a close game. But I think I know what I have to do. I need to let one of these rear guards actually die. It doesn't particularly matter which one it is. I think this is fine because then I have 3 more attacks to take care of. I can guard all of them. I think that's fine. And with 1 card in hand, which is not a trigger of any sort, we will be pretty safe here. Will she just attack my rears, or will she finally attack my Vanguard? She's still not attacking my Vanguard. She wants to take care of the rears. She does not want me to keep them. She knows what I'm gonna do. Definitely playing smart here. Does attack the Vanguard. But we can still guard these, rewrite the Great Daiyusha, and we'll have the Soul Blast for the Platinum Ace and the power. Definitely very good. Hits for the 17, we'll be able to guard this pretty easily, and we are safe. We still have our win con in hand. I mean, pretty much anything at this point is our win con, but I am pretty adamant about doing this. Draw into a normal unit, please. That's okay. We can do the slight BM of calling final turn. Right up the Great Daiyusha manually. Great Daiyusha! Force 2 doesn't matter where it goes because they don't stack. Get the skill for the power up. Please don't disconnect, that is big BM. And then we're able to call this down. And honestly, just swing. There's no way she can guard this, it's too big. And I think that's game. She does have 4 intercepts, so she can do something, I guess. Ooh, there is an issue. I mean, it's okay, but I just realized that we wouldn't actually reach the 30k for the Platinum Ace. But this should be game. She has shown us quite a few heals. There's only 3 triggers left in deck. She could see them here, though. There's a Vivian. And the Howl, and that is game. These have been really interesting games because we did not get the typical, you know, turn 3, die liner, etc. But I think a lot of people already know about that play, and so being able to show off these more alternative lines of play I think is pretty valuable as well. So, you know, because you do brick with this deck, it's very, you know, it's very typical that you do. And honestly, writing the Dizors is pretty fine, but die liner did show us, like, we survived that turn and we're able to actually hold out and go to our win con thanks to die liner's defensive skills, so it's pretty important. So those are 2 pretty long games, so I'm going to cut it here because I don't want to make the video into like over 1 hour. So this was my showcase of Force 2. If you want to see more of it, do tune into the live stream on Twitch. Again, I let the boys and girls sign off together, so you can tune in on Twitch. I do play this deck quite a bit for playtesting, so I hope this was insightful to you guys on Force 2 DP. I think the main focus is the Force 2. Die liner obviously helps a lot. I did have a game earlier that I might just put in here at the end maybe, or maybe I'll just feature it otherwise. And yeah, so Good 2 games, honestly. It's a shame about the disconnect on the first one, but we did seal that out pretty well. So thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned for more of stuff like Ren Story, more of these ranked covers. I'm still building up the decks, so if you do want to request some decks for me to feature on the ranked ladder, you can. But I can't promise that I have that deck built yet. But if there's a lot of requests, then at least that'll tell me what to prioritize in terms of deck building, so do feel free to do that in the comments. So yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.